Hi everybody, Jeff Gayduk here from Leisure Group Travel. Happy to be with you for another Take 5. And with me today is Stacey Warren and Gillian Amaral from Three Chics Hospitality. How you doing, ladies?
Great, Jeff. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. So I found you through the power of press releases. So for those that think press releases are sort of a dying art in this age of social media, your new company came to my attention through some press activity you did. But for those that are not familiar with Three Chics, because it's a new company, give us a background of first of all, who you guys are individually, and then the formation of the company. So maybe Jillian, you can kick it off.
Oh, sounds good. So, Three Chicks Hospitality was a brainchild that was born from Stacey and I probably about 7 years ago now. And we finally had the opportunity to come together and start our company. And we landed on the name Three Chicks Hospitality. We'll tell you the story later.
Mhm.
And haven't stopped since then. My background is essentially I used to work with Stacey at Eastern States Exposition, and we would travel together to group tours, shows, and that's really how we started to learn the market and come up with this great idea. But also my background or my career roadmap, as I like to call it, is in sales and marketing. And it's really led me to this opportunity to work with Stacey and be a partner with Stacey so that we can really address this gap in regards to the group tour market, specifically related to Western Massachusetts.
Okay, great. Stacey, so obviously Eastern States Exposition, and I do want to maybe get a little background on what that is. I'm familiar with it, but maybe some people aren't. So Stacey, you can talk about that and maybe some of your other experience.
Sure, absolutely. So I have been in hospitality pretty much since I was born. My parents started a bed and breakfast when I was about 10 years old. So I've kind of grown up in the hospitality industry and done quite a bit in it with a restaurant and catering business that was family owned with my parents and my sister. And that has kind of taken me down the road into hotel sales, which I started about 18 years ago and have never looked back. Love the industry. And that is where I was lucky enough to meet Jillian and be able to travel with her. Motor coach, I learned very early on. I believe I started my job in November, and then that January, I went to my very first ABA, and motor coach just absolutely became my passion. And it still has become my passion and still is my passion to this day. So if we want to dig in a little bit more about the Big E, I don't know, Jillian, if you want to jump in and tell everybody about that, but it's one of our biggest and greatest attractions that we have in Western Mass.
Absolutely. It was a joy to take this on for 5 years, working as the business development coordinator and food concessions manager at Eastern States Exposition, otherwise known as the Big E. I always like to say I think they're the sixth or fifth largest fair in North America, and certainly the largest in the New England area. So they're very unique in the aspect that it is the only fair that really covers all 6 New England states. You can get a flair for New England simply by going to the Big E every September. So it's such a joy to still have the opportunity to represent such an iconic attraction in our area, amongst other attractions that we will also represent along with great restaurants too.
Nice. Okay, so those that are counting at home understand now we've got 2 chicks on. Okay, why the name and where's number 3?
Well, right now we'll have to make sure that she joins us next time. But Three Chicks was born from simply hospitality and our love for hospitality. So our third chick is represented by a pineapple, which is a symbol of welcoming and being hospitable. And the power of 3 really resonated with Stacey and I. So we were bound to that name and then tried to find something that really represented us to represent that third chick. So it's a pineapple.
Nice. Well, I like that you're having fun with it, and I can't wait because I read a little bit about your company in the press release, and then some back and forth we had. Planning on going to trade shows. If you have a trade show conflict and maybe both you guys are busy, you just send the pineapple, and that could
absolutely. She's in training right now. And when
Yeah.
she acts up, we just eat her and make mojitos out of her. So
Yeah.
There you go. So, Jillian, you mentioned, 7 years in the making. So obviously you guys had some late night conversations, maybe at trade shows or in the office about, hey, what if we did such and such? Why now though?
So, and Jeff, we definitely had those conversations. Our ideas would just, come at the greatest moments, but the timing just wasn't perfect yet for us in regards to where we were at with our careers and the marketplace. Now is the perfect time because we are poised and ready for the travel market that just wants to get back out. We've been dealing now with our pandemic for about a year and a half, and people are ready to travel. So we wanted to be ready for them, ready to receive them. And we thought, what better time than to launch this year?
Gotcha. Okay. So what sort of services are you providing in the group market? You're in Western Massachusetts, and I know you're going to be going to trade shows. So, talk about what you guys are doing, maybe some of your early onboardings and what your plans are.
sure, absolutely. So we are going to be acting as an extension of the sales and marketing team for some of our biggest restaurants and attractions that are all group friendly for the motor coach market. So that's kind of one piece of it. We'll be working closely with them to market them. We've got all sorts of social media that we have set up and ready to go, obviously representing them at the 4 main trade shows. So we'll be doing that. So they'll be getting quite a bit of representation from us. So we're really happy to be able to offer that. And then on the flip side, we're kind of offering like a full circle service. So for the tour operators, we want to be that one-stop shop for them now. So they'll be able to just pick up the call, talk to either myself or Jillian, and then we will be able to help them with all of the restaurant reservations, all of the attraction ticket purchasing, any details, so that it really helps them to just get the best of Western Mass that they possibly can, because we are obviously located here. We've been here and in this market for about 18 years. So we're very familiar. We have a lot of great contacts, and we want them to let us be the professionals in this area and let us handle all of those little details so that they don't have to worry about it, and they can just continue selling other groups and let us take very good care of the groups that they're going to have here with them.
Yeah, I love that idea, ladies, because everybody is so thin-staffed coming out of COVID, and we've seen so many people that have vacated the industry just based on economics, and I cringe when I think about who's coming back and who's not coming back. So what a valuable resource to have 2 veterans like yourselves who know the industry, where you can just plug and play. Here's what we offer. These are the benefits. You obviously know what operators are looking for from past experience and trial and error. So that's awesome. So talk about the geographic area, Western Massachusetts, for those that, again, maybe not super familiar, what sort of mile radius, some of the major cities, attractions and such in the area.
So the Western Massachusetts area, essentially, if you think about Massachusetts, we like to do this, right? This is the Cape and this is Western Mass. We're basically focusing on everything west of Worcester. So that's, the major cities like Springfield, Mass, Hampden County, a little bit of Franklin County, Berkshires as well. So we're going to focus on that first. This is our love, our passion. This is where we're from. And from there, we'll branch out in the future. But our main goal right now is Western Mass.
Gotcha. Okay. And what's been the reaction thus far with potential clients in the industry? What sort of feedback are you getting?
A lot of positive feedback. We had definitely met with quite a few of these people before the pandemic had started, and already knew that there was kind of a need, that there was just a little gap that we just wanted to be able to fill. So we know that there's definitely a need for assistance with this, with a lot of our restaurants and attractions. And it's been very well received so far. Everyone is very happy to meet with us and to hear about what we're able to offer for them. And the tour operators as well. I had about 40 meetings last week for the ABA virtual appointments, and it was also very well received for them as well. And they're just happy that we're going to be able to help make their workload a little bit lighter, and help to make their groups' experiences even better when they come to Western Mass.
Okay. So you mentioned attractions, you mentioned restaurants. What about hotels, step-on guide services, sort of other things that groups use when they go into town?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, luckily, I am the director of sales at the Hampton Inn in Chicopee. So it's Chicopee Springfield area. My hotel group represents 4 hotels that are all within this area.
Oh,
So
perfect.
obviously, the goal is to try to get them to stay here because that way I have control and I'm able to take very good care of the guests while they are at any of my hotels. But understandably, there's certain groups that my hotel is not going to work for, or maybe I don't have the availability. I have a lot of great relationships in this area. So I'm definitely able to assist to find the right property for the specific group.
Okay, awesome. And then I think that the ABA was certainly a good bellwether, and even though it's virtual, getting a sense, what sort of requests are you guys seeing come out of that? Or obviously these early group movements are critical to sort of getting everybody back on their feet. Anecdotally, or some of the specifics that you encountered during your meetings last week. What's the word on the street?
So honestly, I walked away from those meetings feeling very excited and kind of re-energized. And I was getting that directly from the operators. A lot of them are taking this opportunity to kind of just not necessarily rebrand themselves, but be able to offer a new product. They're looking for different experiences that they can give to their groups that they maybe wouldn't necessarily have done in the past. A lot of them have been doing the same thing for years and years and years. And yes, it was working, but now the market is different and they're looking for more of that special experience, more of kind of that VIP feeling when their groups come to these different second tier cities. For us, it's always been a little bit of a struggle because the operators from all over the country aren't necessarily familiar with all the great things that we have in Western Mass. They know Boston and they know the Cape, but they don't necessarily think of Western Mass as this great destination. And that's our job, is to try to educate them. So Jillian and I have worked really hard with putting a lot of great itinerary ideas together. So all of the operators wanted new ideas. They wanted to see what we could offer them. And there was a lot of excitement. Things are changing, but things are good. Like, things are definitely going in the positive direction.
Cool. Yeah, I said early on through this is if we organize ourselves properly as an industry, we'll enter a new golden age of group travel.
Mhm.
Just the camaraderie that happens in groups, the bulk savings, the ability to do these sort of VIP things that you had mentioned, it's going to be a preferred way to travel. So I'm glad to see the operators that are stepping up, because ultimately somebody has to supply that product in which to do it. But it's a unique opportunity to sort of calibrate the industry and some of the misconceptions that people have had in the past. Stacey, you mentioned something that I want to follow up on. I'm actually going to push that over to Jillian. You're right. I mean, you're competing against Boston. You're competing against Cape Cod. What makes Western Massachusetts a good destination?
Well, I'm a little biased because I was born here, but honestly, Western Massachusetts is just filled with so many what we call hidden gems that people just aren't aware of. The history, and Springfield being the city of firsts, is just one of the draws, one of the unique draws in this area. And it's really our goal to make sure that people know about everything that this area has to offer. So I think it's like a passion for Stacey and I to just get the word out. And once they come once, they're going to want to repeat and come every year.
Okay, cool. So, growing up in the area, so you got 20, 24 years, 25 years experience of being there. What are some of the unique activities that you're promoting to groups? And I understand that, you've got clients or potential clients, but maybe a hidden jewel or two that people wouldn't know exists there, or gosh, the feedback we get from this is just off the charts.
I think one I'll speak on, just because we talked about it earlier, is the Biggie.
Mhm.
Um, People know or maybe have heard of the Biggie, but don't realize that you actually can visit all 6 New England states by visiting the Biggie in West Springfield, Massachusetts. It's because they have this iconic avenue called the Avenue Estates. and each individual building represents the 6 New England states, and it's actually owned and operated by that state. So when you are in there, you are actually in that state. And that's something that's so unique to this area that you can't find anywhere else.
Okay. Stacey, anything you can add to that?
Absolutely. So we have actually some world-class museums that are right here located in Springfield that a lot of people aren't aware of. One of my favorite museums is our new Dr. Seuss Museum, which just really dives into all of the fun that Dr. Seuss has brought to this area and to everyone for years. So it's very interactive and very fun. You can see Horton the Who and all of the great characters, but then it also really dives into the history because Dr. Seuss actually grew up in Springfield. So a lot of his books that he has written or pictures that he has in some of his books are actually based on actual things that are in Springfield, Mass. And a lot of people aren't aware of that. So it's really interesting to kind of go through that whole history of it. And then as Gillian touched on, the City of First, they have the Springfield Museum that has all of these things that have been started and created in Springfield, like the Indian motorcycle, for example. So there's so many big iconic things that have started here that people just don't think about. We have the Basketball Hall of Fame because Springfield is the birthplace of basketball. And we have this amazing museum that they just did a huge renovation to. So there's just so many great things. And just adding on to the location of Western Mass, like we are such a perfect hub and spoke location. So it's easy to stay here. We're right off of, they call us the crossroads of New England. So we're right off of Interstate 90 and 91 that intercept the entire area of New England. So you can get anywhere from here. And it's really easy and very accessible to them.
Will you have groups that can do day tours into Boston from Springfield? That's
absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay, interesting.
Yep, absolutely. And the rates are definitely a lot better in Western Mass than you're going to find out in Boston or even out in the Berkshire. So it's kind of that great central location for them to be able to visit anything in the state and then still be able to get a really great group rate.
Gotcha. So let's talk about sort of the business of what you're doing. You mentioned you're doing trade shows and such. How else are you going to get the word out about what you're doing and about the area? What's the plan?
We will definitely be doing that through marketing. One of my loves and passions is marketing. And we're just going to make sure that we take the word of Three Chics Hospitality and really what we can offer and showcase that through our website, through special social media marketing campaigns, and of course, through press releases such as what you received as well. So we're just scratching the surface in kind of different innovative and unique ways of marketing and getting our message out about Western Mass, really to the tour operators and about our great attractions and restaurants as well that we'll be representing.
Okay, and you've got a website, I'm sure, social media. You want to divulge those channels so we can do a little follow-up, anybody who's interested in learning more.
Oh, sure. It's really simple. It's Three Chics Hospitality. So you can find that via our website, which is threechicshospitality.com. And of course, we're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram as well.
Okay, that'll keep you busy for sure. Okay, well, Stacey and Gillian, really appreciate your time today. Super excited for you guys. New beginnings are fun, and especially you're getting some traction early. You both have great personalities, so I'm positive you're going to do well with this. Next time, however, we've got to bring the pineapple on. I want an exclusive.
Deal.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you so much, Jeff.